Everyone. We're talking about the energetics of people pleasing today. There's lots of tools around conversation, around tactics, around what to do about people pleasing, but this is going to focus on the energetics of people pleasing, the underlying foundation that strengthens us in order to allow us to have those conversations, to use those tactics, to use those strategies more effectively. So we're building the solid foundation that everything else sits on top of. And we're going to start with our own personal energy, our own field. So you may have heard about this before, but we all have an aura, and we want to build our protection bubble, our aura, so that we know where we end and where somebody else begins, where we begin and where somebody else ends. People pleasing often starts in childhood. It's a way for us to feel safe in our homes, in the world around us. Our role as children is just to be happy and loving and open and playing. We're not thinking about safety. We're not thinking about what we need to do to make people in the home take care of us or make us feel good or happy or safe. We're just supposed to exist, and all these things are supposed to be taken care of for us. But when that doesn't happen, when we grow up in homes where somebody's always irritated with us, somebody's angry, somebody's got an addiction, for example, or somebody just feels like they don't like us, we will leave our own energy field of safety and happiness and love and start externally focusing on them. What is happening with them? How do I fix them? How do I fix them so they're okay, so that I can be okay? And this is a habitual pattern we learn. So people pleasing is fundamentally a safety mechanism. How do we become safe? How do we become people in the home and with the people around us that are liked, valued, and respected? Because when we are liked and valued, we are safe. We know that food will be given to us. We know that we're going to be belonging in the home, in the community, in the tribe. When we don't have that, we feel like unsafe. We're like, what can I do? What should I do to make me safe? I have to focus on mom, and she's irritated right now. I can see in her face that she doesn't like something. So I'm going to be extra sweet and kind and nice and do whatever it takes to make her feel happy again. And then I can feel happy. That's the energetics of people pleasing. That's a trauma response. And that reoccurs into our adulthood. So let's talk about what we can do about that. So what we want to do is relearn how to create that sense of safety, that sense of containment that we were supposed to have as children, that kind of got leaky or manipulated in a way to help to make us safe with other people. We want to bring that safety back towards us. So it's all about containment. When we're energetically contained, we have safety, and we don't need to change other people, monitor other people. We don't have to be vigilant for our safety through people pleasing when we already have an internal sense of safety. When I feel safe internally, I don't need to, my safety doesn't depend on you, is what I'm trying to say. So I used to be like the biggest people pleaser throughout my life, basically. And then in my 20s, I started learning energetic tools through different teachers, and I strengthened my energetic boundaries, my protection, my sense of self, and it grew over the years. And so my people pleasing got less and less as I became less dependent on other people to define who I was, and for other people to let me know that I was okay, that I was liked, that I was wanted, that I was valuable. And that all started with energetic work. So a lot of you probably have heard of energetic protection, which is just creating a bubble around ourselves. So I started creating bubbles around myself all the time, every day before I went out all the time, because I was so leaky. I was so sensitive. I didn't have my own containment. I was so just this nebulous, weak, energetic field. So I felt everything really strong. I became so sensitive to any slight, any change in tone of voice, any change in facial expression. I would be like, oh, is something wrong? Did I say something wrong? Do they not like me? What do I have to do to just smile extra big and make all these compliments to make them like me again? right? So that's people pleasing. That's me externally sending my energy out, right? And then trying to change other people and make them okay so that I'm okay. So the first step is creating an energetic bubble, learning to contain. Adults have contained energy that's strong. They're rooted, they're grounded, they are strong. People know when they meet you, this is a grounded, calm person. I trust them. I know they are contained in their energy. So that's what we want to get to. So the first step is creating a bubble. There's tons of ways to do this. I'm glad this is making sense, Kara. So there's tons of ways to do this. The best way that I've found after trying a lot of different methods is using the energy of the heart, because it's our own energy. A lot of people teach get energy from stars or the sky or the sun. That you can do that, but your own heart energy is the strongest. It's your own like energy matrix. It's your own frequency. It's your own coding. So building your aura with your own coding makes your aura that much stronger. So do you guys want to go through like this with me as an exercise, or do you want me to just continue on with the different tools? Yeah, exactly. Heart master, Teresa. You want to do an exercise, Kara? Okay. So let's drop in to the breath, taking a breath in. And on the next exhale, I want you to send the breath down to your chest, to your heart. Just feel it dropping down like a stone in water, down to your heart. Okay. And breathe again into the heart. So just notice the tone of the heart. How does it feel today? If it feels good, let's work with that energy. If it feels like it needs an adjustment, just breathe in some love. Breathe in a color that you love, like gold or white or any other color you love, and start to really feel good about the energy of the heart. You can send it some good affirmations or good energy. And when it feels like it's good, take another breath and just blow the energy out through your breath. And see like a bubble growing from your heart out, out, just beyond your chest, out. And keep breathing in and energizing this heart and this bubble like a pump, bigger and bigger. Yeah, so you want it to be around a foot around your body. A healthy aura is about a foot around your body. Good. And then you want it to be like a foot below and a foot above. So keep building this bubble. And if any points of it start to look a little bit weaker, take another breath and pad that area. So you have a healthy bubble. And you want to program the bubble by just affirming that good and loving energy comes in and everything else bounce off of it. A mistake a lot of people make with protection is that they are too protected and they separate themselves from good energy, from people. They become too boundaried. So we want to affirm good, only good in and everything else out. I had another tool on here. Yes, grounding. So grounding is a similar concept. It's about containment and energetic strength. I can build a bubble around myself and I can walk around. But if I'm not grounded, again, it's an energy that's leaky. It's an energy that's not strong. We really need to be grounded with our energy and protect it. It's almost like seeing yourself as a big tree with these beautiful leaves around it, and then a strong trunk rooting it into the earth. Otherwise, imagine a tree just like rolling around everywhere. It doesn't make sense, right? So with that heart energy now, on your next breath, just send it down your whole body, down your abdomen and your pelvis into your root, and send it all the way into the earth, connecting to the center of the earth, or as far down as you can go. And just know this energy, travels with you, but it's always connecting you to the earth. So if you do this before you go outside or you meet people or you go to work, you'll notice that you react differently. You're not as sensitive to other people's reactions and their energy because you are contained. You're contained within yourself. So that's, once you start doing this, your field almost becomes programmed with this strength, and you don't need to do this all the time. Like, I don't do this anymore. In my 20s, I did it every day. And now I don't need to do it unless I'm like in a concert, or if I'm feeling really tired that day and I notice other people's energy coming in, I'll put my bubble up and I'll ground, and it makes a world of difference. So now that we have our energy contained and rooted, we still may not feel strong. And that's because our energy is outside of us. And that happens in normal conversation, just, even with our family, just existing in this world is exchanging energy. That's the nature of being human. It's totally normal. But if we don't reclaim our energy, it stays outside of us and we aren't as strong, or we get weaker and weaker. So this is the best tool that I found that is very quick to recall all of our energy back to us. And all you have to do is see a magnet behind your eyes. I put a little image of a magnet that makes sense to me, but you can use any kind of magnet. And if you want to close your eyes with me, this will just be, again, a 1-minute exercise. Just see your energy coming back to you. Just see a magnet, and you can affirm to the magnet, I'm calling all my energy back to me now. This is my energy and I want it back with me. And just see what it looks like, this energy coming back to you. Does it look like a color? Does it have a texture? Just notice what your energy looks like. This just helps it to become more actualized. And you want to do this for about a minute. And this is a really quick meditation. And it's very grounding. And you'll notice how calm and clear and focused your mind becomes. Good. So as I mentioned, our energy naturally blends with other people around us. Sometimes it's going to feel expansive and energizing, and other times it'll feel depleting. So if you're with a friend that you love, when you hang out with them, you leave and you're like, wow, I had a great time. I feel more energized. I have all these great ideas. It's an expansive, it's an exciting, it's an open energy. That's the kind of energy we want to interact with. Depleting energy is the opposite of that. And you'll know you're people pleasing when you're feeling depleting energy, because your energy is, again, leaking outside of you. It's like a bucket with a hole in it. It gets empty and empty and empty. That's depleting energy. We want to live our lives in a constant state of containment, energy, and expansion, energizing expansion. That's the goal of all this work. So again, people pleasing is leaking energy outside your aura. That looks like hypervigilance. That looks like me looking at Jessica and monitoring her and being, are you okay? Do you like me still? Did what I say make you feel uncomfortable? That's me being hypervigilant towards one person. And that's, again, all my energy and attention going out. The opposite of that magnet. Imagine that magnet repelling my own energy to focus on Jessica. That's hypervigilance. And only when she's okay, or I think she's okay, then I will feel okay. And I am my people pleaser in that moment. So I'm only okay if you're okay is a second sign of that you're depleting energy through people pleasing. And the third is a freeze response. So all of you might have heard of the different responses we have in trauma. So it's fight, flight, freeze. And there's a fourth one called fawn. Freeze and fawn are the major energetics of people pleasing. It's mostly freeze. So in an interaction, if I feel unsafe, if I feel like if you do something, I don't know how you're going to respond. I don't know if you're going to like me. You not liking me now as an adult is a different story than you not liking me when I'm a kid in your house, because the house is the safety zone, right? If people don't like me in my house when I'm a kid, that's a survival issue. That means that nobody's going to feed me, that I won't have a place to live. So that's why it's a primal response. People pleasing is a primal response for safety, for connection. So there's three things that happen when we don't feel safe. We freeze, we fawn, or we fight. When we freeze, we're people pleasing. Our whole nervous system is like kite. It's rigid. It's like, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna say, oh, I like you, please like me. I'm gonna smile, I'm gonna be really kind and nice and happy, and you're gonna like me, right? And I'm gonna be safe. That's the energy of people pleasing. It's our nervous system freezing and bracing and hoping that you'll like me. And when you do, I feel safe and I can relax again. I'm safe in this, I'm safe now, right? That's the energetics we're working with. So when you're people pleasing or in freeze, think of this deer. You'll see a deer on my screen. When you might have seen videos of deer, when they hear a small noise, their response is to freeze. And they'll pretend that they're almost like a statue in hopes that the predator or the threat will just not even see them, will not notice them, and will lose interest and move away from them. That's what our system does in people pleasing. We're not reacting really, we're like in a conscious energetic way. We're frozen and doing what our learned mechanisms are in hopes that we are safe and then we can relax again. So that shows up as a tight jaw, a tight stomach, a racing heart. Think of a deer in that response. Their heart isn't like calm and serene, it's racing, it's freaking out. So when you're people pleasing, notice all these sensations in your body. And then you start to become familiar with them and you'll notice, hey, I don't feel right, because you've practiced the containment, you've practiced calling your energy back, grounding and protecting. So you know what your field feels like. You know what your body feels like. So when it becomes dysregulated, tight, frozen, racing, you'll know my body is doing something that is not normal, and I'm going to notice that. That's the very first step to ending your people-pleasing pattern. So we're going to do an exercise now. And I want you guys to just choose a time that's not too big, like a big traumatic experience, but just a time when you people pleased. So this could be like through a text message or something at a store, just an experience that you can recall where you wished you hadn't, had a people-pleasing response. So we just had somebody new join. I'm just going to give them a second to join before we start. And everyone else, if you could think of a example. And a good way to identify one is something that's been on your mind, like, oh, I wish I had said this. I wish I had said no. Another way is like, I feel resentment, but I know I'm resentful about this thing. I said yes when I didn't want to. I feel angry. Anger is a really good sign that you have been people pleasing, because your energetic boundary has leaked out, and your body's signal after that will be resentment or anger. It's kind of like, think of somebody asking you to make cookies for an event, and you immediately say, yes, I can. Yes, of course, I'll do that, without even checking in with yourself, without checking your time or even your interest in making cookies. Maybe you don't even like baking, but you're automatically just saying yes because somebody has asked you to help them. So you'll go home and you'll make time and make cookies, but the whole time you're making them with this like anger and resentment energy, like putting this terrible energy into this cookies, like, oh, I really wish I didn't say that, and I feel so irritated that they even asked me. That anger and that irritation is the sign that you were people pleasing, and it's a sign that you could have said no and you didn't, and so your reaction is anger and irritation after the fact. So do you guys all have an example of something that's coming to mind? If you can just give me a thumbs up reaction, or if you want to write in the chat, just so I know that we're all good to start. We're on the same page. I see Conwell reacting, which is good. Okay. So I'm going to assume that everyone is good to go. This will just be a few minutes. And the reason we're doing this is to start learning the signals of the body so that the rest of what I'm saying makes sense. Yes, so many to choose from. I'm seeing in the chat. That's true. Yeah, so choose one that, again, that anger, that irritation feels alive for you currently with. Okay, so Kara's saying, I feel blank because I don't get angry, but I feel confused or doubting. That's a really good point. So chronic people pleasers actually sometimes don't have access to a lot of anger because it's so reflexive in them that anger is such a foreign concept. We're always this pleasant, happy, smiling, calm, yes people, right? Anger isn't a normal emotion that we express to other people or even to ourselves. So confusion or doubt, it makes sense as the initial phase before you really go deeper into this work of undoing people pleasing. So choose one that makes you feel confused or doubt, Kara. That makes perfect sense too. I couldn't access anger for like 10 years, basically. Only in my 30s, I started truly accessing anger. So it makes perfect sense. So if everyone just wants to close their eyes again and just go on this really, really short journey with me, we're going to start recognizing what this feels like in our body. So we're going to recall this time when you people pleased. And just go back a bit before this happened, maybe the morning before. And I want to see yourself approaching this person. So you're walking towards them perhaps. And just notice how you start to feel. Do you feel a constriction, a tightness, a numbing? Do you feel any stress in your body? And where do you feel the stress? For me, I feel it in my abdomen and I feel it in my throat. And just notice what you're saying when you fawn or you people please. What gestures are you making? What are you saying? What are they saying back to you? If you're able to see your energy, do you feel like it's leaving your body? Do you feel like it's going towards them? Do you feel drained? Just notice what you're imagining is happening or going to happen. What are the stories you're telling yourself? They're not going to like me anymore. They're going to talk about me. They're going to think that I'm this. I'm not going to be part of this circle anymore, this community. They're not going to ask me anymore to help. Or they're going to tell people that I said no and that I wasn't nice. They're going to think I'm not nice. What are the stories that are coming up? And if nothing's coming up, that's okay. Just know that perhaps there's just a frozen energy there. So just focus on the sensation. The key here is that you're responding to a future imagined scenario. They are not going to. They might. I will be rejected. These are all future scenarios. They aren't actually happening in the moment that you're in. So just start to realize that and separate current moment from future thinking. And these questions I'm going to ask you, just think if they're true or not. Do I need this person's attention, kindness, care, friendship, or love? Who am I without that? Who am I without their care, their friendship, their attention? Can I feel safe without that? Without them? Can I feel safe? Am I still here? Am I here? My full energy, my full power, is it here? Am I worthy of love still? Am I worthy of love without them, without their attention, their care, their kindness, their friendship, their love? So if you want to come back to me now, just open your eyes. And just notice the stress that was in your body, and you can shake out of it if that's helpful. We want to come back into this moment. So shaking is a really good way to tell your body, hey, we're not there, we're here now. So I'm a big shaker. It's a big somatic practice for me to shake. And the place that you felt that sensation, that tightness, just hold it. And you're just letting it know that it's here now. It's this time and this moment. It's today. How does it feel to be here today, alone, where you are, where you're sitting? There's nobody else to leak into. There's nobody else that needs to like you or accept you or be kind to you. You're just here. You're here right now, and you're safe and you're okay. So the purpose is to realize, when am I in stress response and when am I not in stress response? When am I people pleasing and not people pleasing? When am I contained and when am I being drained? There's two things happening at different times, right? What stories or worries did I have before and now? So we're creating some separation. Okay. So now going back into that moment really briefly, and just noticing, what did you actually want to do then? What was your actual truth or need? What did you really want to say? Did you really want to say, no, I actually don't want to make cookies. I want to go home and watch Netflix tonight? Is that your truth? What did you really want? And it's okay not telling them, but you just need to tell yourself right now. So the next step is identifying what you actually wanted. Because if we've had this chronic pattern of just always focusing on other people and what they want and what they need, again, we're externally focused on other people. And we need to start repatterning by focusing on us and what we wanted and what we need. Does that make sense? I'm just going to give everybody a minute to come back, and I just want to check in. Does anybody need anything, or is everyone feeling like they're back here with me? If you want to just leave an emoji if you need any support from me, or unmute. If not, I'm going to assume that everyone's feeling good to continue.
Sabrina, I have a quick, I guess, question. How do we, because during this exercise, immediately I feel like I want to say no in those moments, but I want to say no without having to explain myself. See, that's the thing. I don't want to feel like I'm having to explain my no. And my no should just be no. But, and then even if my no is no and I say no, how can we lovingly say no, where it's like, okay, I'm not saying no because I don't care about you or I'm not empathetic toward your mission or what you're doing. But for me, I'm saying no because that's not in alignment with me energetically. I'm not subscribing to what you're doing. I mean, I wish you love and light, but that's just not me. But I can't say that because I don't want to come off like, oh, she thinks she's better, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be that person. So it's like I want to say no without having to explain anything, but not come off as nasty. So it's like about like, how do we do that?
Yeah, that's the golden question, right? So that the people pleaser will always have a contraction to just saying no. It's like this, it's like there feels like throwing a bomb and watching it explode and like not being able to do anything. We want to, if we drop a bomb, we want to like put all these like comforting blankets around it and put a million like caveats around it and go, okay, but, and then if that's too much, then I can, right? Like, so there's all these safeties that we try to build around our no, and that safety is trying to just create safety for us. So you can start getting better at saying no by practicing in a small way and building the normalcy in your body, the safety of starting to say no. And on the next slide, I'm going to go through some strategies around softening the no. And all the softening is creating space so that you don't have to respond right away. The people pleaser has been conditioned to respond right away. And that's where we get in trouble. So even like letting the person wait for 5 seconds can feel so uncomfortable for us because we don't want to make them uncomfortable. And the whole trick of it is to start realizing that their discomfort is not more important than your discomfort. We need to start switching that. My comfort is the most important thing, right? And then yours is also important, but it's not more important than mine. So my first priority is making sure that I'm comfortable, I'm safe, I'm resourced. And then if I'm resourced, that means I have the time, the capacity, the interest, then I can say yes to you from an authentic place. If I'm not, then it's actually a no. And does that make sense, Jessica?
I'm sorry. Yes, it does
Yeah.
make sense. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I was fighting to find you, but
So I'm going to go through a few strategies around this. Yes, thanks, Connell. I'm glad that made sense. And Kara, I see that you're saying that you are holding yourself in love, but that was really awesome. So I'm glad you liked that exercise. What you can do is, as we continue, just hold those spaces that feel tender, and anything that comes up, just affirm that you're here now. You're sitting here and you're safe. So you just say, I'm safe, I'm okay, we're okay, right? So just telling your nervous system that you're here and you're safe, just affirming that. So what I just said, thawing your energy, it's buying time. So the people pleaser just needs to buy time. When we have time, we can create the strategies around our messaging. So it's not just a throwing a bomb and saying no. It's what can I say? How do I say it in a way that feels like I'm in integrity, but I'm also authentic. And I'm also honoring my capacity and my needs and my truth, right? So there's a technique called the ring spin. This is a Brene Brown technique that I learned from her. So you can use anything. She uses a ring, but because a ring is a tangible tool. So what she does is she wears a silver ring, and before she answers, she spins it. She goes, no. And then she's like, I got my no. I need to have 3 breaths to register if I'm a yes or no. That's how she takes her time. And she's learned that it's okay to let the other person wait for a few breaths. So that's her technique. That's like, I would consider that a more advanced technique, because even that spinning time, I would feel like, oh gosh, I don't want to make them uncomfortable. But that is one technique that works very well for her and for a lot of other people. I've started to say, can I get back to you? And this can also feel like, whoa, that feels like rude, or I'm going to be putting them in an uncomfortable position because they're not going to have an answer and they're not going to have a plan, and who's going to make the cookies. You need to start focusing back on you. And it's always, I can't even think of one scenario where it's not okay to say, can I get back to you? Unless somebody's like on fire or there's like an actual emergency, like that needs an immediate response. Nothing is really an emergency. We need to get out of this terror, this trauma response of needing to respond right away and try to fix everything. Slow it down, calm it down. Can I get back to you? Hey, David, can you make me cookies today, like for my party tomorrow? You could just say, I'm not sure, I have to check on a few things. Can I get back to you? So when I say it like that, it kind of feels, I hope it feels okay when I said that. Did anybody have a strong reaction? No, because I'm probably not, because I'm making it about myself. And I'm not over explaining and saying, well, I'm not sure, like I have to do the laundry and I have all my kids here. And that's over explaining. That's something people pleasers do, is they over explain. It's nobody's business why it's a no. Thank you, Christina. So it's nobody's what's the word? Nobody has the right to know all the details. And I'm the one overextending, again, draining my energy, sending it out, over explaining. No is a complete sentence. Yeah. So there's a really good, Christina's got some good wisdom in the chat there. Yeah. So just say no and use the pause. You can use the ring method. You can just take a few breaths. You can use what I said. Can I get back to you? I put this last one in because this is the one that I used last week, actually. So I was at an event and somebody asked me a really personal question about something I was going through. And they're like, so tell me more about that. And the energy was like gossipy and wanting like, some intel, and it didn't feel good. Like when people ask me a personal question, it feels good when it's like coming from a care and like a genuine wanting to provide support. If it's just like, oh, so tell me what happened there. My people pleaser will be like, oh, I don't want them to think I'm rude, and I want them to like me. So I'm just gonna, explain all this personal stuff about myself that I really don't want to. And it's really none of their business. And then I'm going to go home and be resentful, and I'm going to not like them. I'm not going to invite to my parties anymore. And I might just like have all this negative energy and anger towards them. Or I could take a pause and check in and be like, I really don't want to explain this. This is a no for me. So my answer is not going to be like, no, and walk away. It's saying, it's honoring my truth and saying, this isn't the right time for me to share. Can I get back to you when it's the right time? And it might never be the right time, but that this gives me the opportunity to have an out. And when I have used this kind of phrase, I've never experienced somebody being offended or upset. It's like, usually people have compassion for it. Like, oh, I totally hear that. Maybe it's like just not the right environment. You're not prepared. You don't have capacity to share that. So there's a ton of different techniques around this. These are just a few of them that I hope are helpful. If anybody has specific scenarios they want to run through, you can let me know and we can do that on this call as well. So let's start to thaw. These are some tools, energetic tools that are based on somatic experiencing that are so helpful to get out of the to freeze responses, to start to thaw. So ice melts and thaws, right? The first one is orienting. So if somebody's asking me for something, or there's a moment where I feel like I might people please, I have a strategy where I'll say like, I'm just going to go to the washroom, or I'm going to get a glass of water. I'll be right back. Or hold that thought. I'll be right back. And then I'll go to a different room. I'll go to the washroom. I'll go outside and I'll do orienting. I'll take some space from the situation so that I can check in with myself. What's my yes? What's my no? Orienting is going somewhere else and just bringing your energy back into your body. So that's through looking around. I'm going to start looking at things that are pleasant around me. There's a Himalayan salt lamp on my right, on my desk, that has this beautiful amber glow. I have this crystal that I love to hold that's on my desk. So these are all things that are calming to my system, and I'm orienting to calming things so that I start to feel calm. It's like co-regulating with my environment. And if you don't have the luxury of saying, I need to go and come back, just look around you while you're talking to somebody. So I'm noticing, I love this red on the carpet behind them. It's just something pleasant to the system, something safe to the system. Taking the breath and then responding from that spot. The other thing is shaking, like I showed you, to go when you go to a different space, start shaking. Sometimes I used to go to the washroom and just go to a cubicle. I didn't need to go to the washroom, but I needed to move around and shake. Frozen deer is like this. Shaking is what they do when the predator leaves. You might have seen videos of like animals, like dogs even, they'll shake, and that's just a nervous system resetting itself. And from this reset, I can respond differently. The other one's tapping. I assume people are familiar with EFT tapping, emotional freedom technique. So I don't love the whole sequence. I don't like the going through the negative statements. And I know that experts say you need to activate the negative statements. But if I'm already in a freeze response, if I already have those negative stories, I don't need to re-access them or tell them to myself again, me personally. So I just start with the positive parts of it to try to soothe myself. So if anybody wants to do this with me, people especially who are activated by the exercise, yeah, Christine, I agree. She's saying it's kind of annoying too. Yeah. So let's just skip to the good part. If anybody wants to do it with me, I'm just going to do a really quick round. And EFT is tapping on your meridian points, which is basically like the nervous system major points. And you're telling yourself a message that you want to insert into those points. So I'm safe. I'm safe right now, under the eyes, under the mouth. Everything's fine. I'm okay. I'm here now. And I trust myself. Collarbones. I like myself. I'm okay. I'm here. I'm here. I'm safe. And then I can hold the wrist. I'm safe. This holding the wrist part might be new for some people. This is called faster EFT. So it's not running through the entire sequence. It's like a kind of a anchoring, holding the wrist. I'm safe. Yeah, rooting, containment, contain the energy. And then that magnet exercise we did in the beginning, just see all your energy coming back to you. I'm safe, I'm here, I'm complete, I'm whole. I'm telling my body I'm not that little kid who was 7 years old, who needed everybody to like me so I'm safe. I am grown up, I'm safe, I'm fine, I'm good. Even if that person doesn't like me, I'm still okay. Even if everybody doesn't like me, I'm still okay. I'm going to be alive. I'm going to wake up tomorrow, even if everybody doesn't like me. Right? That's the reality of being a grown up. That's where we want to get to. Being liked is not the same as surviving. So that's where we want to get our system to. I'm always safe. No matter what happens, I'm always safe. So I don't need to people please. I don't need to be leaky because the safety comes from inside now, not from outside. Another tool that I find really helpful for me is deep sighing. This got me through like a really stressful job. People would call me the sigh lady. Like they would hear me sighing from across the office because I was always like, and it was involuntary. My nervous system needed to have that release, that reset, because I was often in a state of freeze. I was a chronic people pleaser. So if you want to sigh with me, feel how good that feels just to like let your system not do this and just do this open, expansive, big, wide, picking up all this space. That's where we want to be. We want to be sighing, calm, relaxed energy. The VU exercise is from somatic experiencing. This is a sound that they found resets the vagus nerve. It tones the vagus nerve, which is the nerve that has a really huge impact on our nervous system. The tone VOO, VOO, is so soothing to the system. And it also helps us to, when we use the tone energetically with a physical movement. So I'm going to start creating a boundary energetically. So remember we did the aura exercise at the beginning. Your aura should be a foot around you. I'm reinforcing my aura energetically with this sound, voo, and I'm bringing it up from my root, a deep sound, voo. So do it with me with your hands and let's push forward our energy and strengthen the front of our field. The top of our field, a foot above you. And you can keep doing this even like below you, all around you. It feels really, if you guys didn't do it with me, I recommend doing it later. It feels really calming. And if you guys ever work with a somatic therapist, they'll probably do this exercise with you, the VU exercise. Yeah, so people are saying they like it and they felt that. Yes, this is a big top-notch tool. Highly recommend it. So this is something that I learned from a clairvoyant teacher who could see energy. And she learned this in the 70s from her teacher. This is like I'm saying this because you might have learned this from other teachers. This has been around for decades because it's so effective. And clairvoyants and energy teachers use this because they can see the energy and how effective this tool is. So you want to visualize a rose in front of your aura. So you've created that foot aura, and a rose is a symbol that you've created in your mind. And a rose is representing purity, beauty, love, all of the emotions that we feel when we see a rose. We feel naturally calm. Like people give each other like roses as symbols of care and love all the time, right? So this is symbolically what we're going to use. Just see a rose in front of you. And it's going to catch the energy from everyone else. And the space between the rose and you is just for you. So the purpose of the rose is to be like a catcher's mitt, catching all this extra energy from other people. So it's not able to come next to you or near you. It's just like being absorbed by this really magical rose that is eternally being absorbing things. And sometimes you'll find the rose gets so big, like gets so saturated with energy that you need to kind of destroy it and then put a new one in. So sometimes I'll go through multiple roses because I'll feel like this one's full, this one's full. And sometimes I'll pass it around my entire body, like I'll swirl it around. And this is so effective if you start doing this. So if you want to take a moment and just see a rose in front of us for a minute, and just notice your body relaxing because you're trusting that this object is going to catch everything for you or catch what's already there, just clearing your field. And you can hold the intention that I'm going to keep this rose here for the next day. I'm going to let it catch anything that I don't want. But I want love and kindness and sweetness to come into my bubble, the one that we created at the beginning. But I'm creating this rose as a tool, the catcher's mitt. Good. If your rose feels dirty or heavy, just send it away. You can send it, see it going up into the stars or down into the earth or just disappearing and create a new one. Always having a fresh, clean energy rose. Good. So sometimes when I'm talking to somebody and I don't like the energy between us, or I feel like I'm people pleasing or they're having a negative energy, I'll put a rose up and I'll just intend that that rose catches everything that I don't want. And I'll notice that I'm more able to communicate with them because I don't have this distraction of disorganized energy. I'll just let the rose work. And this is another tool that I learned that I used a lot when I was working in an office and I was with really difficult people. And it's a bit easier than the rose sometimes when a conversation is active and I have to focus on what somebody's saying. I'll just imagine there's a waterfall of water between us and it's just protecting me and nothing can come through the waterfall. This has saved me so many times when I was really sensitive. So you can just even see your waterfall in front of you right now. Of course, we're all sending good energy to each other, but this is just a practice in visualization. You're a master of your own energy. If you don't master your energy, other people will master your energy for you, right? So it's very important that we learn these tools, become masters. So we have learned multiple tools today. We learned the energy magnet exercise. We learned to create a bubble around ourselves. We learned grounding.
Yeah.
I'm just muting somebody. Okay, so we learned shaking. We learned tapping, faster EFT. We learned deep sighing. The VU boundary. We learned the rose protection and the waterfall protection. And that's our exercises, and we've finished right on time, but I have time for a few shares or questions if anybody wants to say anything or talk about a specific scenario that they're working through. You can feel free to unmute or just raise your hand.
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
These are all great tools, like in the moment, when somebody you're trying to stop the people pleasing in the moment. But I think where I struggle a lot is the aftermath. So like after I've said no, after I've used the tools and said, hey, can I get back to you on that? The guilt that takes over and like the anxiety of like, okay, I still have to answer them. I still have to sort through like, okay, can I do it? Should I not do it? Should I say yes? Should I say no? Like what are some ways that you can navigate that guilt?
Yes, great question, Christina. So the tools I mentioned are in the moment, but a lot of them are after the two, like they're ongoing maintenance. So I can't say yes or no. I can't know if I'm a yes or no unless I'm centered and contained and energetically strong. And so I use my tools to get there. From that place, I know if I'm a yes or no. Otherwise, I'm still responding from that depletion, from that wanting to be liked. Again, those words you use, guilt. That's you focusing on other people and their response and your fear, your survival, what their reaction will be and how that will impact you, right? So can you give me like a role play scenario? You don't have to give too many details if you don't want, or you can, but just so that we can do like a practical discussion on it.
Yeah, definitely. So I in talking to friends, they'll ask me, hey Christina, can you create a can you create a flyer for me? Because I do like graphic design and stuff. So they're like, hey, I need a quick flyer to put up. And like my inner willingness is always like, yeah, sure, I can do that for you. But like emotionally, my energy, my capacity may already be stretched, and I really don't have it to do it for them. So, but I'll still say yes, or I'll still, if I say no, then I feel guilty about it. And it's like, oh, well, maybe I could just, I can spare a few minutes to do it, but then I get frustrated with myself. It like turns into this whole spiral. Like, dang it, I should have just said no and stuck to it. And yeah.
Okay. So one of the things we talked, so you'd already know like to buy time, but what you could say when you've bought time, you said, can I get back to you? So when you want to go back to them, you can say your truth, which is like, what I'm hearing is that you don't have capacity. You don't have time. You don't have energy to keep giving away for free. Is that true?
Yes, it's not always for free either. Sometimes it's even paid work. Like I don't have the capacity for it, but either it's like, oh, well, maybe I could use the extra cash, or oh, maybe I can squeeze it in. I don't want to let them down because then they might not ask me again. And
yeah. So for free, what you could say, we'll just do one at a time. For free, you could say, previously I would have been a full yes, but right now I'm over capacity, I'm overbooked. I can do it for you as a client, and I'm happy to give you a friend discount, right? So then you start creating that momentum of like, I'm not available for free anymore. And then people will stop asking you for free because you're not available for it. And you're in integrity, like you actually don't have capacity for free work anymore, right? So creating that honor to become paid. And now you're getting paid a lot. You've got a lot of paid clients, which is great. So when you want to say no to them, it's actually a good problem. First of all, congratulations that you're fully booked. That's amazing. What you want to say is, I'm fully booked, but I'd love to work with you in the future. Can you check with me on your next project? Does that sound good to you?
I actually do like that. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Somebody's trying to FaceTime me.
I can hear you.
And I can't even see it, so turn it off.
I'm going to mute you until you, for a second. Okay. Just to complete what I was saying, if you, yeah, Karen, another client calling, which is a good problem to have. Yeah, so I don't have capacity right now, which is true. Can I put you on my waiting list? Or can you contact me on your next project? Or here are other people I can refer you to, right? You're creating a solution for them. No, but how can I also help you in a way that's honoring to me? So a no doesn't have to be this complete no, bad, like go away energy. It's, I'm still a helpful person. We're all helpful people. This is the problem, that we're too helpful. How can I provide help in a different way? Again, through referrals or to giving you a different timeline. Jessica has a question. Go ahead.
I have a question, Sabrina. And I was trying to figure out how to put it. In the instance where we are a recovering people pleaser, and we're in a more intimate relationship, okay? Let's say it's a partner or husband, or even someone that we love very dearly, like our children, you know, mother, daughter, or whatever. How do recovering people pleasers navigate the balance between holding space for someone that's so close to us, emotional well-being? Because of course, when someone is so close to you and affects you emotionally, you want to be there for them, you know, you want to support them, but you don't want to be a people pleaser either to them emotionally. And that's where I struggled the most, because it's like I have a partner and my husband is, you know, going through his thing. And yes, I want to be mindful of how he feels. I want to validate his emotions and things like that. But I don't want to give too much of my energy away. It's so difficult for me to manage the fine line between how much we give to the people that's so close to us, attachment wise, especially even our children, you know, because we nurture them, we love them, we hold them so dear, we try to support them and lead them and everything. And I don't want to give too much of my energy away. You know what I'm saying? So, and with me being a recovering people pleaser, it's so challenging for me to find this balance between giving enough caring, empathetic love from my heart chakra, but still setting boundaries and realize, wait a minute, I don't want to be a people pleaser in this situation either. That's the hardest position. So how does that work?
Yes, that's a really good question. I think everyone on this call probably can resonate with what you said. So ultimately, we want to realize that we can keep giving and giving and giving from our heart. We can keep giving energetically to the point of depletion, to the point of exhaustion. And then where does it leave everyone that we love, right? There are studies done about people who are people pleasers and what it affects they have long term. They get diseases. Specifically, there's studies around getting Lou Gehrig's disease, because this energetic pattern, this behavior is a depletion. So does it really serve your family, the people that you love, if you're going to get sick, if you're going to be so empty? Then they have to help an empty person, which is you, right? You're not this infinite supply. That's the issue. So realize your no is actually an act of love to yourself and to the people around you. And it's also an act of love because they need to start learning how to self-source. Otherwise, we're all just codependent, right? If somebody else needs us to feel a way, to get energy, to feel something, that's codependency at a fundamental level. And that doesn't work for any of us. So everyone here is codependent or recovering codependent. Like that's the reality of being in this world, and being a people pleaser. So yeah, so your question is, what do we do? The first thing is to like start communicating where we're at. So in partnership, there's a really cool tool where we actively communicate our capacity level. So Jessica, if I'm in a relationship with you and we're communicating, you're expressing a need, my part of not being codependent is telling you where I'm at. So I could come home from work and say, I'm a 7 out of 10 today. And you might say, I'm a 2 out of 10. So we're both not at capacity. We both have a depletion. We both have a need. Me being a 7 tells you that I'm not full. I don't have everything to give to you. And you at a 2 makes me know that you need a lot of support. And I also know that I don't have a lot of support to give you. So how can we negotiate and find a balance between both of us? So I can't make you dinner and do all the dishes and take care of the kids today. But I can order takeout, and maybe you can help me clean up the living room so that we're both kind of figuring out how to be in the middle. That's a healthy, interdependent partnership. Do you know what I mean?
So the work is in getting your partner to that level of communication.
That's one strategy. Again, I don't know the exact scenario of your particular relationship, but this is an example of how you can operate in a partnership as a people pleaser, is letting them know where you're at, saying, I have a pattern of overgiving, and I know this. I have a people pleaser tendency. Okay, so I'm being honest with where I'm at, and then asking them, like, what do you need right now? And can you know that this is where I'm at? And that I might overgive to you and deplete myself. And when I'm depleted, I can't be of service to you in a full way. Mm-hmm. What do you need right now? I'm at a 7. What do you need what do you really need right now that I can give you?
And that's where I struggle at the most, because I have a partner, even though he's great in so many other ways, but our weakest point is communication. So I can say, what do you need right now? Babe, I'm fine. I'm good. And I know it's not a fine. I know it's not a good. I know he might use 1 or 2 words to describe his emotional capacity. And then I'm there left to like be like a forensic analysis of what's happening. And then I'm just doing too much emotionally to figure it out. It's too much gymnastics.
Yeah. But that's you being a people pleaser. That's you being external, hyper analyzing, trying to fix something when somebody told you, I'm okay. I don't need anything. So listen to them when they say that.
But then you know they're okay is not okay.
That's honoring them as an adult, and honoring, like, if they really need something, they're going to verbalize it. It's not my job to be a mind reader and try to figure out what the code is that somebody's not willing to verbalize, right? It's undoing these patterns. These are all just patterns that we've gotten into. And if you're depleted, I can see it in your energy right now. You're like, you're not telling me what you really need, and I'm just exhausted from trying to figure it out. Right? When does it end? How long is it going to go on? So listen to him when he says, I'm okay, because he's going to get to a point where he's like, hey, what's up? And you can say, you said you're okay. I'm not a mind reader. You need to start communicating and telling me what you want and what you need. It's very confronting. It's very uncomfortable. That's the job of people pleaser, to end this desire to always make everybody comfortable and happy. And, that's like, start looking at us.
Yeah. And Teresa, I have dealt with abandonment issues. I've done some, shadow work on that as well. It's just that when you're in partnership, no partnership is perfect.
Yeah.
People have their strong parts and then their weak parts, right? And then I come with my strong parts and my weak parts. So I recognize in my husband, the communication capacity is his weakest capacity. Even in his natal chart, it says it. So it's like, how do I get you to even be like to even have accountability. Like he's never going to be the person to be like, are you okay? You know, he'll always dance around the situation, but it's almost like I am always the one to communication wise to always hit the nail on the head, to always let's address this right head on. I'm the addresser. I'm the let's get everything out from under the carpet. Let's address all the elephants in the room. You know, let's get it out in the open. So it's like, okay, I just want to know, you know, and I think you kind of gave me some tools that I will try, of course, as far as addressing my own, because it's funny, we're all on our own spiritual journey, right? I'm working on my, you know, people pleasing and abandonment and all this stuff, and he has his stuff that he's going through on his own journey. So when two people co-create and come together, it's like you have to find this balance.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Has what you've been doing been working so far in any way?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so then we need to do something different, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, I'm going to be a bit confronting because like you're asking for my support. So you constantly say, like asking, like, what do you like being the initiator of the communication, asking what's going on, being the investigator of what is not being said, forcing the conversation. What would happen if you just stopped doing it? What would happen if you stopped doing what's not working and just take care of yourself?
And that's where I'm at. So
Yeah.
is that because now am I, you know, the other part of me is like, well, you're a wife. Is this emotional abandonment? Is this me not being empathetic in our, you know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like we're programmed to say, hey, you have to show up this way for your partner. You can't just be like, you know what? Oh, boo, we'll go be over there, work on you, and I'm gonna be over here working on me. Because trust me, every part of me wants to say that. But it's like, am I emotionally abandoning this person? Am I not holding space for them? Am I not doing what I'm supposed to be doing? You know what I'm saying? So it's not like we don't want to say that. Oh, we want to say that. We want to be like, you know what, peace out. Holla back when you feel better. You know what I mean? Come back to me when you good. Circle the block. You know, no, but it's like, okay, come on. I'm tired. Okay.
I know. It's depleting. It's draining. It's going to make you tired. Yeah. I would just run an experiment, as I said, and just stop trying to control and be investigator and ask and force communication that doesn't want to be happening. So yeah, well, just, you know, try for 3 days of just letting what is is. And if he really has something to say, if something really needs to be spoken, something bothering him, let him be empowered, step into his role as the masculine and speak and tell you what he needs. What often happens with women, like, this isn't about sexism, this is just the dynamics of relationships, is usually somebody who's receiving and somebody who's leading. It sounds like you're taking the leadership role in a lot of ways. And then when you keep doing it, you're not giving him space to step into that role himself, right? So take a step back and be in your feminine, you're receptive, let things fall apart and let him build it back up when it's time. But if you're being the masculine, if you're doing and forcing and fixing, there's no space for him to step in to do that. So give him space to do that. Just see what happens. It may not work, and then you can come back to it, but give it a chance to see if something different might have a different result.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sabrina. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So again, containment. I'm gonna bring my energy inwards. I'm gonna nurture myself. I want to get my cup to 10 out of 10. Make that your goal. No more depletion energy. It's like full cup, loving myself, being like this robust, juicy, happy, loving woman. That's who I want to be in the world, right? Come with that energy and see how your relationship shifts. Just an
And
experiment.
see, no, by Christina's comment in her face that she's doing on the video. Christina, I see you, red shirt. I see your face. So I get it. Trust me. You're like, oh no, honey, I was there, break up, all that. And see, the thing is with me being in marriage, like I don't want it to get to the breakup, because we have so much things that work. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, you don't want to just like throw in the towel because of the pieces that don't work. But at the same time, it's like, okay, when you know what I'm trying to say, Christina. It's like, how do I be this? I am a leader naturally. Everything in my natal chart says it, everything in my aura, my being. Okay, I'm going to lead this. And when I step back, because I'm learning how to step back in a lot of various ways financially and take the back seat, and I'm gonna let you drive this ship. And I'm in the back doing analysis. I'm on spreadsheets like, okay, he driving the ship, and bro, okay, we like 5 degrees off. You know what I mean? Like I'm in the back, like I'm still doing the analysis all the way in the back, knowing exactly where we going, and your coordinates ain't quite right. However, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm not trying to be the helicopter. I ain't trying to be I'm a recovering everything. I'm a recovering people pleaser, abandonment, all types of stuff. I got stuff I'm working on. So it's like we in the back working on us, and we are trying so hard to say, okay, I'm gonna let you lead. Like you said, Sabrina, I'm gonna let you lead. I'm gonna let you do this. When it crashes and burns, then what? I appreciate it though. This is some really good information. It's only so much we can do, and on an energetic level, you know what I'm saying, we have to still do our work and be accountable for our part. And the only people that we have control over is ourselves. Is our own spiritual journey, and it's just us. You know what I'm saying? So we can't fix anything outside of us. Universally, everything will come in alignment, and it will answer itself and work itself out automatically. I get that. All we can do is the work. So I do appreciate it.
Yeah. So when you start bringing your energy in and focusing on yourself, things will fall apart. I guarantee. It's not like somebody's going to step right up and be like, I'm going to take care of everything. I'm going to ask you how you feel and make sure everything's perfect in this relationship. Things are going to get messy and fall apart, and just allow and be like, I'm going to take care of myself. So that when things come back online, I'm a 10 out of 10, and I can be here for this relationship as a 10 out of 10. Right? Allow, because don't get more depleted. We need you in this world as like a 10 out of 10 powerful woman. Right? Yes. Okay. Does anybody else have anything to say? We're a little bit over time. I hope that's okay.
I have a question. Okay, so I love that she says recovering people pleaser. I've been saying that for like 20 years. But the thing with for what I'm wanting to know is I don't have a problem saying no anymore, and I haven't for a very long time. But I'm sort of going through another dark night of the soul. Like I hit 52, and it was a reset for me, and there was a lot of, I moved back home towards my family is, and I brought up a lot of stuff. So for the last few months, I've been doing a lot of work, and I realized I went to the extreme other side where it wasn't just a no, not your business. Like so much so where don't ask me anything. Don't ask me about my life. Don't ask me about anything private. Don't nothing. It is a no. And some people are even afraid to ask me because my whole stance now is like, they just know. So I've realized, like, when I was the people pleaser, there was stuff that I liked. Like, you wanted to get a birthday present for me. Because I remembered 8 months ago when you said that you were interested in something, but I know you would never get it for yourself. The cards that I would make, the things that I would do for people, the surprise parties, and it was never about me being liked. I genuinely liked and adored doing those things. Now I'm trying to step back into what I like to do for people. And I don't even know how to do that anymore because I have said no for so long. I think I started saying no to me, to me, and what my heart feels like, and to put myself out there to be vulnerable again. So that's where I'm at right now, is not being a people pleaser, but I don't even know the words that I'm looking for, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. What would you love to, what would you love to be?
Whew, not so guarded. Like I'm very guarded in my hometown. I don't like it here. I never use the word hate, but I hate it here. But I'm not going to run because this hometown keeps bringing me back and there's lessons here. And I don't think it has anything to do with my family like I used to think, but I think it has to do with me softening as a person.
So when
And
you're
not,
softening in your hometown, what will you be? What will you feel like? What will your experience of life be?
um, weak. I don't, yeah, I don't, a failure. Because I was big. Like I lived on the West Coast for a very long time and I worked in the film industry and I did it. I made it, but I've never been able to make it in my hometown. And I don't necessarily want to. Like I just got a phone call yesterday from the theater here to do hair. And um I was like really excited and I found I actually did a people pleasing thing. I'm like, yes, that would be awesome. I applied for it like a year and a half ago and then I kind of let it go. But they wanted me for a specific show and the show is coming up and I don't want to do it. And it's like, why don't I want to do it? Um, am I scared to put myself out there or am I just done with hair or do I not want my family to see? Because I was really successful and they only see me as someone who had troubles. Like they've never seen, because I cut them out of my world for most of my time on the West Coast. So they've never seen that true shining bright star that I was. So I don't know where I'm at. I feel like they have a label of me and I become that when I get back here. Like I've been back for 3 years now and the juice that I had when I got back was unbelievable. Like I had just spent 4 years all over the Gulf Islands and healing and dark night of the soul. Sorry. Dark night of the soul and just swimming in the ocean and forest bathing. I was on top of my game. And in 3 short years, they've managed to like peg me down to almost nothing again. So
I hear you.
So I don't know if this has anything to do with people pleasing actually, but I don't know. Like I find my people pleasing old self coming out a little bit because I'm running scared again. Like I don't want to run away from them. I don't hate them. I don't blame them for anything, but I'm doing things that I don't want to do again with my family, not necessarily friends. I actually haven't really made a whole great deal of friends here by choice. So
So first of all, have compassion for yourself. It's been quite a journey, right? And also it makes sense how you feel. Because if you think of a pendulum, you know, like a pendulum swings like that.
Yeah.
You were on a people pleaser extreme part of the pendulum. And now you swung to the other side of extreme, boundaried, closed, right? Too contained. So it makes sense. And the work is to like figure out what feels like a good middle.
And I'm also Aquarius, so I tend to go on extremes anyways.
Yeah, so it's perfect. It's like physics. You just want like this and you're just going to come in the middle, right? So it's finding that soft middle. What does that feel like? That's why I asked you those questions. What would it feel like? What do you actually want? So that's
I don't want to do anything for anybody else anymore besides me, like at all, not even a little bit. Like I don't want to think I'm a compassionate person, but I'm also a recovering empath. It's none of my business what other people feel like unless they want to share that with me. So I have to make sure that I don't feel that like in the world because I could touch people and feel everything and see everything in their world and I don't want to do that. So I've even blocked myself off from hugging people a little bit because it's too much. I see everything and I hear their thoughts and not just generation, like in this generation, I can feel their family's lineage. And it's like, so, and it's extra hard in this city because this is my hometown. And so I block myself off so that no one, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's I
Start with the tools that I told you about, like the energetic tools, because you're saying like you're very, it sounds like you're leaking a different way. Like
yes,
you're
yes. When
receiving
you
too much
said that,
information. Yeah.
I had heard that leaking thing a few years ago, and I'm like, yeah, about the people pleasing, and I'm like, I'm leaking in a different way, and I don't know
Yes.
what it is. Yeah.
Yes. So try the containment. I want you to try grounding every day, building your bubble. When you go into the world, see who, like, can you start gentle touch with people, not hugging everybody, but it's practicing your own energy field. Where do I end and where do you begin? How can I start slowly thawing, coming from this extreme to maybe this degree? Slow. Everything has to be slow with nervous system, with all of our energetic systems.
Yes.
Even if there's an animal around you, like try to find something that feels safe and practice with the safety. And then it slowly gets easier and you come into some balance. And
You
that
just
balance
hit
point
the
can change
you
all the
just
time.
hit the you just hit the nail on the head though, Sabrina. I don't feel safe in this city. I never have. This city is the most unplaced safe this place I've ever felt.
So
But
yeah,
I'm back here. I know for a reason, and it's my Achilles heel in life, and I get why I'm here, but I just cannot seem to wrap it up into a nice little like flower arrangement and go, yay, I did it. I don't know.
yeah.
So, but thank you. I will
People are sending
yeah.
you lots of support in the chat.
Oh, thank you, everybody. I haven't even
This
thanks.
is a journey. We're all on a journey, and this is a short amount of time, so I can't go too deep with you. But if you want to
Yeah.
talk after, I'm happy to jump on a call. That goes for everybody.
Okay.
If there's anything really alive for people, I'm holding this space. Otherwise, you can book some time with me, and we can go a bit deeper with a lot of these stories, because a lot of them are pretty personal. It takes some time to like really safely go into those old stories and bring them up and let them heal.
And I've been wanting to book with you for a while, though. I've just been like thinking on it because, like I said, I've been going through stuff again. And I just wanted to say it's how you say my name is Teresa. So I know what people think it's Teresa, but it's Teresa. So
Teresa, okay. Thank you for letting us know.
okay, thank you, everybody. Thanks.
Thanks for sharing, everybody, and thanks for your time. I did say that I'm gonna only send this replay as a paid thing, but I changed my mind. I'm gonna send it to all of you for free because I think that that's a nice. I'm not as a people pleaser. I just think that it's nice, and some people joined late, so I will send that out to all of you. Yeah, thank you so much for joining, all your energy and all your support and keeping the chat so interesting. Yeah. Have a wonderful night, everybody.